Yes, welcome back to y'all hearing this. My name is Kay. Thank you so much for coming back and joining us.
Yes, my name is Honeybee, or you can call me Bee, whichever you choose is all right with me as my hair comes down more, and then I transform into a new. It didn't do what I thought it was gonna do.
You look like those girls who have like the ponytails with like 5 like things and it's like super long.
Yes! It's giving.
That's right. That's too funny.
I live.
Oh my goodness.
Welcome back to another week of our fabulous podcast. Yeah. This week we are doing an amazingly talented group.
Yes, yeah.
These really ladies are fierce.
I know. I love them. And that guide was a lot of fun. So we're doing I-dle.
Mm-hmm.
And that guide, I think, was good. It's definitely not the best one I think we've watched ever, but it was. I think it did a good job of breaking down and giving you like little bits for each member. I think it did a good job of that. So yeah, I was excited to watch it.
Yeah, I actually, I felt like out of the whole guide, there was certain members that really like stuck out to me, and it was not necessarily because of the music or talent and all that. It was just based on the way the guide was, like basing it off of how we saw it. There
are definitely like biased guides out there. Like we did an EXO a couple weeks back, and almost every single comment we got was, "Well, that wasn't the guide,"
Right.
But we go in blind on these things, guys. Like I literally just for groups that I don't know.
Right.
I don't want to watch the guide first because that kind of ruins the whole reaction part of things. Right. So I just kind of pick maybe the most updated or the most popular or that sort of thing. So sometimes it might be a swing and a miss. So
right. You never know.
Right.
You work with what you got.
That's right.
As Mariah Carey says, I can only work with what I got. Okay. So, but I will say the members that really stuck out for me, or that I feel like I really connected to, was definitely Minnie.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely. Soyeon, yep. And I really liked Shua.
Yeah.
I really did. And she is the youngest of the group. The Maknae. I liked her. But Minnie stood out for me hardcore. And I think a lot of it has to do with the simple fact that this is kind of funny, but me and my brothers grew up color coordinated. And my brothers were blue and green, and I was always red. And I love shades of red. As I've gotten older, like I love, my nickname's Honeybee, so I love anything that's remotely black and yellow together. So you guys
were Huey, Louie, and Dewey growing up,
basically. Or like Alvin and the Chipmunks. Literally.
I love your parents even more now.
Yes, literally. Like, it's hilarious. So, I was always red, but it's just like, I love that her favorite color is red. Red stands for a lot of different things. It stands for fire. It stands for passion. It stands for fight, like all of that. And I'm a Pisces on the cusp of Aries, or I'm more of an Aries, however you want to look at it based off my birthday. So I just really relate to that.
And March 22nd.
Yes.
I know it. I definitely didn't think it was the 23rd.
Yes.
Almost all day March 22nd this week.
I know. And the 23rd is my brother's birthday. So it's kind of funny. So, but I really liked how, like, she's so humble and she's so talented. So talented.
Yeah, I think she was
extremely humble.
That one song that you were talking about, her breath control and stuff like that. So I believe that was from a show. So there's a singer, I'm not sure if he's a soloist or if he used to be in a group called Lee Moo-jin, and he has the show called Lee Moo-jin Service. And basically he has different singers come on. And so actually this month of April, I am watching different the Thursday free for all. I'm watching just that show and just picked a different one. So the ones that have already come out are Junie and from Monster X, my baby, and Chang Sub from B2B.
Oh, Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so yeah, I think 2 of them at least were on it. It looked like they were on it. So I'll have to look up because I haven't watched any female singers yet on there. Just male ones.
That's fire.
But yeah,
that's so dope.
That was cool, and I can't wait because that show is so good. Actually, I think you'd love it because it's just singing, and they talk in between. They talk about the songs or whatever, and they each pick. They bring like 2 or 3 songs, and then they pick one that they do together as a duet. And yeah, it might be songs I've never heard in my life, but like they're always so good, and they have like a live piano accompaniment and stuff like that. Yeah, it's so good. It's like a little half-hour little snippets of fun singing.
I love that. I love that type of stuff because. Yeah. Again, I just really want to hear and see people's vocals. And a lot of these K-pop groups are so like high octane when they perform. Like very, very, it's just very pushing on the body, the everything. And it's like a lot of times, and also it makes sense to do this because a lot of times on live TV, God forbid if something happens, they always have backing tracks. And sometimes the backing track can be louder or it can be softer, whatever the case would be, which a lot of the time it's out of the group's control. Yeah. It has to do with their sound, team and all that. But there's always just something. And it's nice to just be able to watch something like the show where it's just pure vocals. Like you just listen to them sing. And like, definitely I live for that. I know you live for that. So that's going to be super dope. And I'm excited to see, you know what I mean? What Minnie did on it was Minnie, right? That was on her episode.
I believe it was one other. Was it Myeon-soo? It might have been Myeon-soo.
And she was the one with that tone that I really. Do you remember I can't because the thing went so fast and I couldn't catch her name.
She was the first one.
No, Minnie was the first one. I know.
No, Myeon was.
She was?
Yeah, she's the oldest.
I thought Minnie was the first one.
No, she was the second. So she came on. She was like the main vocalist, and then Minnie was like the lead vocalist or something. Yeah.
Okay, so So I did like. I remembered Neon just because I remember her sitting there and she did this like jazzy song, and I was like,
"Yeah,
okay, girl." Okay. But who was the one who had like the deeper tone to her voice?
Yuki.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I love what I really liked about that too is she's a lead vocalist, and it's very rare for a deeper toned woman to be a lead vocalist. Very, very rare. Yes. And I love it. It makes it so different because usually they'll take that and blend it in, you know what I mean? And not make it like a feature.
Yes.
Because people associate like those super high notes with like the more...
with female singers, I just think higher tones people associate.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So I think that's so cool that they like feature her more in the song.
Very empowering.
Yeah, and she just does have the most beautiful, beautiful voice too. And I love like a deeper tone.
Yes. And I think for us too, because we definitely grew up around it, because I instantly, when I heard her voice, I didn't even think necessarily straight to Toni Braxton, love her, but I instantly thought of girl groups with lead vocalists who have deep voice. And I instantly thought of T-Boz from TLC. Like she is like the main vocalist that people remember, and she has a deep voice, and it's like, so to hear her kind of have that role was so dope. I was like, okay, I-dle, you better have equal opportunities for everybody, all voices.
That's what I think I really, really, really like about this group is that they all seem to, maybe have different roles or things like that, but they all have like their own ideas, and they're all very like vocal about it. Like everybody in the comments was telling us, especially about Tomboy. So they took the G out because they wanted it to be not girls, not guys, like just everyone's a tomboy. Like there's no gender, and you know what I mean? And like, was it Shua who talked a lot about? It said that she talked a lot about like toxicity and things like that. Like that's like. They're so empowering as a group. Like everything we've seen from them has been so like female power, like very like strong. And I love that. And that's exactly what like people need to see.
Yes.
You know?
I agree.
I love Minnie too. But Soyeon is definitely like my person because like she reminds me so much of me. Like, I'm sorry, I would love to hold a meeting and tell people what we're doing. Let me tell you.
Listen, the way that she did that was just like, there was no... I've never seen that happen before. It's usually the other way around.
She was like 15, 20 years younger than pretty much everyone else in that room too.
Literally. And it's like, and it's very much usually done the other way around. Like it's usually like the label's going to sit you down and it's like, this is what we doing. This is how it's going to go. I swear, yo, K-pop music, that side of it, like, and we understand this doesn't happen with in every situation. But just the simple fact to even see that happen, that's crazy. Yeah. I can honestly say the only time I've ever seen that happen remotely here, like in the States, with a group I've ever seen actually filmed or something was it I think it might have been Destiny's Child. I know specifically with Beyonce, like she... Yeah, no one's telling Beyonce what she's gonna do. Right, at all. But like... I think I saw like a video where like Destiny's Child was together and they were like, and I was like, huh. Like, that's different. Like, okay, y'all are real superstars. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the thing. Like, I think to become an idol, it's not like this like easy thing. You know what I mean? You were going through most of the time. You're going through intensive training, sometimes years and years of training.
Yes.
And you know, it's blood, sweat, and tears. Like you were going to school and then you're dancing. You're going to school and then you're singing. You're going to school and you're doing whatever. You know, and so you have to have that passion. And we've talked about this before. That's why I liken it to an athlete training for the Olympics. You know, like you have to want it so bad. You have to have like that music in you. You have to be interested in dance. You have to be whatever, you know, especially whatever area you're like focusing on like that. So they all are so passionate about it. No one's just an idol just because they're like, I decided to be an idol. You know what I mean? Like no one's going to put themselves through that if they didn't really love it, you know? And it's not always like the best experience. I don't mean that in any way, you know? I mean, there are people who train for the Olympics for years and never end up making a team or something, you know what I mean? So there's a ton of that because there's so many people who are trainees and whatever, but to want it that badly, to go through all of that. Yeah.
And to take your time. And I mean, on top of that too, I was thinking this as we were watching her in that boardroom. I'm like, never mind your own schedule, girl. Like, and memorizing your own moves, your lyrics, your all that.
She's doing nail art for them.
And researching it. With what time? Like, I don't understand. Like,
that's why she reminds me of me so much. Because that's me.
That is you all day.
I'm up at the 2 a.m. figuring out whatever our next move is.
That is you all day.
And like, I was like, yeah. I don't remember what her birthday was, but I wonder if she's a Leo too.
Yeah.
Definitely a type A though, and that's me.
Yes.
It's like that. As soon as I saw that, I was like, yeah, she's my favorite.
Wait, because we were just talking about this earlier, because it's so funny, because I just changed my Instagram handle. I used to have 2 separate accounts. I was like, this is team too much. I want to keep it all together. I should be able to keep all the things I love on one account. Yeah. And I wasn't sure if it would automatically switch on everything I've ever been tagged in. And it doesn't. And so I was dying because Kay goes, I would love to do that. I would love to just sit there for hours and just change each one. And I'm like, that is right up your alley. So when homegirl was up inside of this boardroom meeting, I can see why you was like, that would have been me. Yeah. You have all this other stuff going on and you're like, let me go ahead and just research and still plan this out. What time? Hey, if you want it done right, you gotta do it yourself.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. I know.
Shout out.
I struggle. I am actually like a manager at work, like my 9-to-5 job.
Right.
And I do struggle with delegation for sure, you know. But you have to give that trust to other people.
Yes, it's hard.
Because they're never going to grow And like, I'm sorry, my number one thing as a manager is always to make sure like any employees like grow, you know, in whatever, you know, knowledge and whatever. But so they have to be able to do things on their own. But sometimes end of month I come in and like a whirlwind and stuff just gets done.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta do it. Right. Sometimes you gotta do it. Right, it's okay. Right. Sometimes you gotta handle that.
But yeah, so again, twinsies. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yes. And you know, just going back to kind of like a full circle moment with the group, I just feel like with all of their talents together, their music itself is so dope. And I would also, side note, I would love to see it's Suyeon, with Busta Rhymes.
Oh yeah, her fast rapping was amazing.
I would live.
I need to find you some of those videos because they have some compilations of like the fastest raps and things like that, and it is insane. I think for the guys, I think the record's like 10 points or 11 seconds, like words per minute, or not syllables per second or something like it's something insane.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
Syllables. I don't know. Anyway, however it's measured.
I feel like it's because
her highest was 9 something. I think. But yeah, it's insane. And all 3 of the rappers are up there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Because I'm like, I would love to hear that. First, I would love to see those type of videos. But just, oh my God. And like, Sis is a whole rock star. Like, what?
Well, that was Yuki, the one who was...
Oh, that was Yuki? Oh, okay. I thought they were still featured. I was like, wait, so she's a rapper and a rock star? Wait!
Yeah. No, that was Yuki, the one with the deeper voice.
Yes. Oh, so that was... Okay.
Yep.
Okay, yep. I see it.
Yeah, so something like she was in her rock star era. So
yes, that's what I was saying. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, I just thought that her fast rapping was so mesmerizing, and she made it look so effortless, and I think it looked so effortless because she loves what she does.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Yeah, she is the one that I feel like, it's something about like the leaders.
Yes. It really is. I've
yet to come across a group where they picked the wrong leader. You know what I mean?
I feel that. Ooh. That's a whole word.
Yeah.
That's a whole word.
Like every group I know, their leader is absolutely their leader.
And very deserving, so.
Yep, absolutely. And like has done so much for them, you know?
Well,
yeah.
I think since this would be a good time to do a little segue.
Yes, I'm excited.
Yes, we're gonna
no idea.
We're gonna get into B's Nectar of the Week.
I am so excited.
So every week, of course, going with our artist feature or group feature of the week, we talk about all their different music and we see all this different behind the scenes stuff. And I always equate this like whoever we're featuring, I always automatically think about the music and stuff that I grew up listening to or that I'm currently listening to. And it's good to just kind of like get an idea of if you want to listen to an artist outside of the K-pop realm that is kind of similar to who we're talking about. And in this case, we're talking about I-dle. I'm going to give you a suggestion and a little bio on an artist that I think you would like.
So I do have a guess, but I don't think it's right.
So we're going to do this thing where Kay's going to start guessing.
Yeah.
And this one was tough because I really was trying to make sure I picked a group that also had a MC in it or a rapper in it.
Okay.
But then I thought about it.
Definitely not right.
And then I thought about it and I was like, well, I don't know if that necessarily could make sense for this group. So I picked one artist and then I actually switched to a group that doesn't have a rapper in it.
Okay.
But I want to know who you think I picked.
Spice Girls all day.
Okay.
Because female empowerment.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like they give off that vibe.
Yes.
And like I think like the fashion and stuff, like there's something about that that kind of reminds me of them. And I know they're different sounds.
Yeah.
But like
I almost picked Spice Girls, and the only reason I didn't pick Spice Girls is because Kay knows that I have the memory of a goldfish, and I was like, I feel like I might have already picked Spice Girls before, and I'm constantly trying to make sure I pick something completely different each time, even though I could totally say that I-dle reminds me of TLC.
just so you know, we have this lovely thing called a spreadsheet.
Yes, I know.
What does Kay put on the spreadsheet every week?
And that's the thing.
She puts on who's B's Nectar of the week. So...
And B did not check this week. This was B's fault. That's why I was like, I'm going to do a swing and a miss, but let me just pick a whole different group just in case, so I don't even make that happen. Okay. But I almost could have said that this group could easily have been in the same realm as like Spice Girls, TLC, same thing. But the group that I picked, and it might be completely off kilter, but I'm gonna tell you why I picked them.
I'm very interested.
I picked En Vogue.
Ooh, okay, no. Oh,
because you know what song I instantly thought of?
Yeah,
Free Your Mind.
Yeah,
when I was like, female empowerment.
Oh my god. Yeah.
And when I think of their second album, which is like a whole other thing, we're gonna get into it.
Oh,
but I
that's
picked En
such a
Vogue.
good pick, and I never in a million years would have guessed that, or even thought of it.
Yes,
but it works so well. I can see it.
Okay, so we're gonna get into the queens and the legends that are En Vogue. Oh. Okay, Cindy Herron, Terry Ellis, Maxine Jones, and Dawn Robinson are the original members of the R&B girl group En Vogue. The group was put together by producers Thomas McElroy and Denzel Foster after a talent search in Oakland, California in 1989.
Wow, was it really that long ago?
Yep. Their debut album, Born to Sing, was released in 1990 and featured the #1 R&B hits, You Don't Have to Worry, Lies, and their platinum debut single, which also peaked at #2 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart and won them a Billboard and Soul Train Music Award for the hit song Hold On. So definitely listen to En Vogue's Hold On.
Yes.
It is amazing. En Vogue's music, what made them so popular and what brought them together was the uniqueness of each of their voices.
Yeah.
It wasn't your typical, like, I feel like specifically here in the States, in the US, girl groups, whenever they're put together, I always feel like they always have to go for that, one, the powerhouse vocalist, but then everybody else has to be like soft and cute and sweet and all this other stuff. Whereas
they're like, no, free your mind.
Right. They're no. So not only can they all sing, but they are like ferocious with their talent. They don't just sing, like they are like powerhouses, every one of them. And what they represent was female empowerment during a time where it wasn't really accepted. And you would think that it would kind of go against them, but they just took it and ran with it.
My favorite all-time song of theirs is Giving Him Something You Can Feel. It is so good. I love like that Motown kind of sound anyway.
Yes.
They did it.
We are about to get into because that is
I'm sorry.
That's perfect. I'm glad you brought that up because that is off what many consider their greatest album and definitely was their highest selling album and the biggest that really took them into mainstream was their follow-up that came out in 1992 called Funky Divas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the one I really remember.
Yes.
I do remember Hold On, but yeah, Funky Divas, I had that for sure.
Yes, Funky Divas hit #1 on the Billboard R&B charts and #8 on the Billboard Top 200.
Nice.
And it went triple platinum.
I can imagine.
The lead single is probably one of, if not the most well-known En Vogue song that is always associated with them, which also went to #1 on the R&B singles chart and #2 on the Billboard Hot 100. Definitely have to listen to this. And it's called My Lovin', You're Never Gonna Get It.
Oh, yes.
Never gonna get it, never gonna get it. Never gonna get it, never gonna get it. Never gonna get it, never gonna get it. Never gonna get it.
As they do the
yeah, it's like all the scatting. It's the scat. Yes, yeah.
I love it. Like yes,
you gotta love the scats, girl.
I love it so much.
The album also featured their #1 R&B hit of Aretha Franklin's "Giving Him Something He Should Feel,"
so good,
as well as the top 10 single, which reminds me of I-dle so much, and it's called Free Your Mind. That song was a very big song because it also, if you watch the video,
yes.
the actual video features, so if I'm not mistaken, I gotta find the article. There was an article on it that I think the video featured either drag queens or just queens in general, and because the song itself was talking about female empowerment, and they're talking about like, I wear high heels and mini skirts, and then they're going all just talking about, not those are the actual lyrics, but just talking about stuff like that. But then also I think the song
basically like, I may dress this way, but I still have a freaking brain.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think the actual song, there was like a foundation that it either benefited like HIV research and like it gave back to the LGBTQIA community. So that's why within the gay community, they are extremely like huge and well respected because of all the things they did during a time that when it wasn't really popular and it actually could have hurt their career.
Yeah.
Why right.
This away.
So, right, for real.
Now I need to go hear that entire album right now.
So, what also made me pick En Vogue was this very reason. So, in 1993, they released an EP called Runaway Love, and they also made appearances on TV shows In Living Color.
Nice. I miss that.
Rock and A Different World.
Oh, A Different World.
But in 1994, they collaborated on a huge hit, which went platinum, and it was a top 3 song, and it was Salt and Pepper with En Vogue called What a Man.
What a man, what a man, what a man, what a mighty good man. Yes, he is.
Yes. So then they came out.
Oh my God, I forgot how much I loved them.
Right? Ready for this? This is really good. This is actually, I thought My Lovin', You're Never Gonna Get It was probably the song, and then I just read this and I forgot all about it. Because I forgot that there's another song.
Oh God.
So in 1996, they contributed, mind you, this song, and I forgot, this song was actually voted like the top karaoke song.
Ooh.
Like one of the top girl group karaoke songs of like all time.
Okay.
They released a song that they contributed to Queen Latifah's Set It Off soundtrack with the hit single Don't Let Go. Don't let go, have the right to lose control. Don't let go.
You know, I've never seen that movie.
Really, we gotta watch it.
Yeah,
it's really good.
I know.
It will make you cry hardcore. It is so good. Oh!
Because I love Queen Latifah as an actress too. She's so good.
Oh my God. Just thinking about it. Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Ooh. So they it peaked at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100, and it hit number 1 on the R&B singles chart. And then it said while working on their 3rd album during that time, Dawn Robinson, who was also considered a lot of people considered as the lead vocalist of the group, decided to leave due to issues with management. They decided to go on as a trio and release their 3rd platinum album, EV3, in 1997, which featured the top 20 pop hit Whatever, and it was co-produced and co-written by Babyface.
Oh, nice.
They went on to release 3 more albums: Masterpiece Theater, featuring the hit song Riddle, and a Christmas album in 2002, and then another album, Soulflower, in 2004. During that time, Maxine Jones left the group in 2001, was replaced by Amanda Cole, and then Cole later left. In 2003, it was replaced by actress and singer Rona Bennett. And while the original 4 members have reunited for performances throughout the years, the current lineup consists of Heron, Ellis, and Bennett, and they released their last album in 2016. Oh, I'm sorry. They released a song in 2016 called Deja Vu, and it followed by their first album in almost a decade called Electric Cafe in 2018, which featured the hit single Rocket. Nice. And then currently, they actually, all the original members actually got together within the last couple of years. They actually were going to do a 30th anniversary tour in 2020, I think it was. And obviously what happened. And so all the original members had originally gotten back together. And then, unfortunately, the infighting and stuff it didn't happen. So now I believe the group is still just a trio that features those, last three girls that I mentioned. Yeah. But yeah, they just remind me so much of
I can absolutely
I-dle, just
see it.
Because the empowerment that they stand for. And no matter how many lineup changes they had and all this other stuff, their message never changed. Yeah. And that kind of reminds me too of like these legacy groups and stuff that you see, or I know, and I haven't really like researched it and gotten into it, but I remember reading like about how there are some K-pop groups who were created and the lineups consistently changed. And it was kind of like a part of like their actual...
like concept? Or
something? Like the concept.
Well, I think so. Some of them, talking about NCT, one of the subgroups is it's not like they have certain subgroups that are like singers. They have certain subgroups. Mm-hmm. I believe they have one that's just like the Chinese members.
Right.
And then they have one where it's like, it just kind of like different people shuffle in and out of it. You know what I mean? Right. So it's a whole subgroup and they have they do releases and everything, but it could be like someone from that subgroup. It could be this person. It could be whatever. So yeah.
I'm
trying to think. I know there's a couple groups, including I-dle, where members have left. I know we don't know enough to talk about it, but Soojin from The Guide, she's now not part of the group. Not quite sure what happened there, but yeah, it's tough for sure when you have members. And then also in Korea, they have the also the issue with the guy groups anyway, with them having to go
to enlist
deployment. Deployment. So you definitely have this kind of balance, and I can see why they start them so early sometimes.
Yes,
because then they've got like 10 years before they have to worry about
really build up their career, and then when they do have to, they can come back and they still have that support and that fan base.
Right, exactly.
And that's the same thing with Vogue. They still have that support. They are
I'd go see them live anytime. Yeah,
literally, they haven't released a new album since the 2018 Electric Cafe, but they can literally tour for the rest of their lives and never release any more music, which we talked about in another podcast. People can tour for the rest of their lives and they will be completely fine. Their music reminds me of, I could listen to it at any time, but I specifically remember listening to their music a lot during like spring, summertime, fall. Like it just always like, if we go on vacations, like I just remember always hearing En Vogue at some point.
So growing up, I wasn't allowed to watch MTV.
Yes.
And I wasn't allowed to listen to rap. So, but my mom took rap sometimes to be like basically R&B to kind of, you know what I mean? I had to fight to be able to listen to En Vogue. But in the summers when she was at work, we'd sit there and watch MTV all day. You know what I mean? Yes. So yeah, I distinctly remember watching Free Your Mind and giving him something you can feel a lot during vivid memories of seeing those. I can picture the couch and the TV and exactly where in the house and everything.
I remember seeing them one time on, actually this is a good segue into the Say What?
Okay, nice.
Section Say What? Since we are in springtime, I was going to ask you, do you remember, because when I thought of En Vogue, I thought of like seeing them or hearing their music on like spring break specials on MTV and VH1 and BET. And like just always, their music just was so empowering, but so like just fun and like dope to listen to. Like you could listen to it no matter where you were and no matter what group you were with, you could play their music. Yeah. And I feel the same way about I-dle. I feel like no matter what group or whatever, whoever you're around, you could always play any of their music. Yeah. So I want to ask you, what type of music or like what is a fond memory of a spring break that you remember?
Oh, I'm trying to think.
Even if it has to do with music or a vacation you took or whatever.
Yeah. So when we moved up here, when we lived in Tennessee, they had one break. Oh, I'm sorry. I was like, what is that? It was my roommates.
I live.
Sorry. I was like, what's that music? No, it's not laughing. Ooh, okay. Sorry. so when we moved up here in Tennessee, you had like a vacation in March instead of one in February and one in April. So I'm trying to remember. I mean, most of the time it was probably sitting around while my mom was at work watching MTV.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
I didn't really do too much.
I used to live for MTV Spring Breaks. Like, I would look forward to it every
Yeah. I know it wasn't always like the same year, like the week that we had. You know what I mean?
It was like always like a little, either the week before or the week after.
Yeah, but I definitely, And do you remember, what was that show with Chris Hardwick and Jenny McCarthy, the dating show?
Singled Out.
Yeah,
Yes.
I remember watching that, like a spring break version of that. Do you remember?
I remember. I specifically remember the spring break Singled Out, and I remember the spring break the fashion shows. I don't remember what they were called, but I just remember the musicians that would perform on them.
Yeah, well, they had like a fashion show.
Yes.
It was one of the models. I can't remember which one. That did it. But anyway, one of like the supermodels, you know, but I can't remember her name now, of course. But yeah, they always had that too.
I specifically remember the MTV Spring Break fashion show that had Jay-Z performing Big Pimpin'.
Oh, Big Pimpin', oh my God.
And
that's
then
so funny.
They had asked him, hey, are you excited to see Destiny's Child?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh yeah, for sure. And it actually, there's a part of this that actually ended up being on like a Beyonce album or documentary or something.
Oh, cool.
And it was, I think they were trying to say like this was the first time they met or something. And it was in the spring break on MTV of 2000.
Wow.
And Destiny's Child was coming out to perform, I think, Say My Name or Bugaboo or something. And I just remember that was like apparently the moment where they had met or whatever. And you literally just see either Jay-Z was watching the actual performance. I don't remember, but it was just like, that's what I remember as Spring Break. Like, I remember waiting to see these performances happen. And then now look at that. Like, that was a special moment. And now it's Jay-Z and Beyonce all these years later. It's just like crazy. But I love little things like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I remember about Spring Break. I didn't care about if we went on vacation or not.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 times, we just stayed here.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I can't remember like vacations we took other than to maybe like my grandparents or something, you know what I mean? That was mostly in the summer. But did I ever tell you about the time that we all decided, my friends and I all decided we were going to go and remember when they had like VJ auditions?
Yes. Did you do it?
I didn't.
Oh my God.
So I was living in Narragansett at the time, so I must have only been like 18, 19. So it was like 99-ish, 2000-ish, whatever. Probably about the same time. And they decided they were going to do auditions to be a VJ. So we're like, let's do it. So we like drove all night and ended up in New York City, parked, I don't know where, sleeping in the car. And then we walked to go to Times Square to where the building is. And then the line was, because we should have like gotten in line when we got there, but we didn't. The line was so long that we're just like, whatever. So we ended up just wandering around Times Square all day. But yeah, that was the time I almost, do you remember Jesse? That's the year that he got picked.
Do you know that get out of my head. I was literally about to be like, do you remember when Jesse got picked?
That was that
Rest
audition.
in peace, Jesse.
Yeah, that was that audition.
Oh my God. That was the one that he won?
Yeah. Yep.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
I loved him.
I know. It was so funny. Now it's just a fun, like, we drove all night being crazy. When you're 19, those are the things that you do.
That is what spring break is all about.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a spring break even, but.
Hey, well, listen, that's what spring break is.
I'm pretty sure several of us called in sick and like.
Again, sounds like spring break. Okay.
Do you remember those nights? Oh, I had those nights where like I had to be up so early for work that I would just, in whatever state I was in,
stay up and pull it all night.
No, I would go and sleep in the parking lot at work and like put a note on my car like, wake me up when I need to come in.
Did it work?
Yeah.
Did somebody wake you up?
Yeah.
I live.
I've done that quite a few times. Kids, don't be like your Auntie Kay.
Yes, Auntie!
Nuna Kay here to tell you, don't do it.
Don't do it. If it tells you to do it, don't.
Yes, because it is never a good day. That never leads to a good day ever.
That is the perfect way to end this. We hope you guys enjoyed everything with this episode.
You got a little bit of everything.
You did.
Yeah,
you got a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm here for it. Please let us know any other I-dle music or things that we should know.
Absolutely,
and, shout out to I-dle. We love you guys so much. Shout out to Vogue.
Yes.
We love y'all so much
yes,
too.
We do. I'm going to go listen to that album later today.
Right? For real.